But look, the big thing I want to talk about is Bruno. I find it really weird. I thought we'd stepped away from this, and in a way, I'm not going to get dragged into it. So I'm just going to say what I think, but I'm also going to refer to you. We do something called player ratings. So on our website, in the last 20 minutes of every game, when we're doing a watch along, we'll say go to unitedstand.com, player ratings, mark every player out of 10, 6 being average, star for your man of the match. So. Look, I said yesterday that for me, Bruno Fernandes, who is a player I like, who is, and I find this hilarious. I find this absolutely hilarious that I'm apparently don't like Bruno Fernandes. I mean, it just really falls into the category of idiotism who just don't watch the channel and think it's something that it's not. You know, we absolutely want this club to do well. We absolutely want these players to do well. I mean, I remember being gutted when we didn't buy Bruno Fernandes in that summer. I'm Mallorca looking at the boat sinking behind me. So Bruno Fernandes is a player I really rate. But like Anthony Martial, like Marcus Rashford, like any player I like, if they perform badly, the shirt matters more than the individual. And I'm sorry, I don't think Bruno Fernandes has been anywhere near good enough for arguably 6 months, maybe longer. So, you know what? If that's having a hate campaign, then look, call me a hater, but I genuinely disagree with that. I think it's just using your eyes. And of course, other people have different opinions, but let me just go back over the last few games where you've done the player ratings. These are not my scores. Bruno Fernandes last night, 4.3, voted for by thousands of you. Bruno Fernandes against Everton, 6, average. Bruno Fernandes against Ammonia in Cyprus a week ago, 4.8. Bruno Fernandes against Manchester City, 2.6. Bruno Fernandes against Sheriff, 6.2. Bruno Fernandes against Arsenal, 8. So, in his last 6 games, and look, in no way am I or anybody else saying that Bruno should be sold or got rid of. But in every way, I'm not going to sit here and admit he's playing well. I don't think he is playing well. I really do not think you can sit there and say that Bruno Fernandes is fulfilling his talent. And that's the most important thing. We sit here week after week moaning about Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial, Paul Pogba over the years. And now we can't have an open debate about a number 10 that seems to play every minute and actually frustrates many fans with his inability to play against the low block. That's the problem with Bruno. If at the weekend we play Newcastle and they attack us, I think he's absolutely one of the best number 10s in the league. He is brilliant at picking the ball up, looking up and knocking a ball over the top for someone quick to run onto. That's his game. But patience, he hasn't got any. He hasn't got any patience. I guarantee if he's in Tesco and there's a big queue, he throws his basket on the floor and storms out, goes to Lidl. Like, he has got no patience against the low block, and it comes across every single time. Now, people will say, oh, yeah, but yesterday he created a few chances. He's the number 10 in a Manchester United shirt against a very bad side. Nobody's saying he's dreadful. Well, maybe some people are. I mean, Ricky messaged me and said he was dreadful, but I'm not saying he's dreadful. I don't think he was good last night, but he's got to be better. He's got to be a lot better. I said last night there was a time 18 months ago when he was being compared to De Bruyne. Nobody's doing that anymore. So don't tell me that Bruno's not fell off. He has fell off, and it's up to him and Erik ten Hag to get more out of him. I firmly believe there's a player there. I remember some of you in the summer saying Bruno's finished under Ten Hag. He'll give him a chance, but he's finished. He's not patient enough on the ball. He's too wasteful on the ball, and he will frustrate Ten Hag eventually. Maybe that will happen, but I also think that Bruno Fernandes is a very talented player, a very intelligent player, and he can adapt to how Erik ten Hag wants him to play. But at the moment, look, I think the jury is out. I really do. People say Bruno needs dropping, and I agree. The problem is we can't really bench him for somebody else, and that's the big thing, Elliot. I will say something right now. If Donny van der Beek was fit, I think Bruno would be on the bench. I can't prove it, but I know how Donny van der Beek played for Ajax under Ten Hag, and I know what we need. And what we need in that number 10 position is basically something that people don't probably like, but it's basically a magnet. It's somebody who gets the ball, lays it off and moves. Gets the ball, lays it off and moves. That's what we need. Simplicity. Odegaard's brilliant at it for Arsenal. He gets the ball, he lays it off and he moves. Bruno gets the ball, has a look around, tries a little chip, tries a little 40-yard pass, tries a shot, tries and makes things happen very, very quickly, very impatiently. And I guarantee you, if Donny van de Beek was fit, he would have been given opportunities and Bruno would have played less games, because what Donny van de Beek will do, he's not as easy on the eye as Bruno, but he'll get the ball, lay it off and move. Get the ball, lay it off and move. And I think that's what we're crying out for, because look at Sancho yesterday when he came on. And this is what we're talking about. I'm not talking about selling Bruno. I'm not talking about kicking him out of the team. I'm talking about a little bit of. He needs a little bit of what Ten Hag has given to Luke Shaw, what he's given to Sancho, what he's given to McTominay, what he's given to Maguire, what he's given to Lindelof. He needs taken out the team for not performing and sitting on the bench, and then come back into the team and perform well. Look at Sancho yesterday. Mentality was really good, made a big difference. Look at Luke Shaw when he took his place back from Malacia. This is what I'm talking about with Bruno. He's playing every minute of every bloody game and nothing's changing really. He's averaging around an average performance, and I think that's not good enough. So these people who are saying, oh, stop having a go at Bruno, he's creating chances. Is he really doing any better than average? And I go back through the last few performances. Even this season, very rarely have we been giving Bruno better than average, and he is our number 10. He needs to be the conductor. He needs to be the player that is running the game. And at the moment, I just don't think he is. Yes, he can do, but he needs to do a lot better. And as I said, I think if Donny van de Beek was fit, there would be an opportunity there for Erik Ten Hag to bench him. But at the moment, he doesn't really have anybody else, which is why I said last night on social media, would you not think about trying Jadon Sancho there? And, you know, it was met with some ridicule. But, I mean, at least Jadon Sancho, again, he's a pass and move player. He gets the ball, he lays it off, he moves. I watched the game last night and I was just like, there's so little movement off the ball. It's all about taking too many players on or trying the impossible pass or shooting from distance. A lot of that was like that yesterday. And I think we'll see a response against Newcastle, and I'm sure Bruno will start. And I for one, hope Bruno will play well. But I'm not going to sit here and say that what he's doing at the moment is good enough and it's not an issue, because it is. It definitely is. You cannot get on the back of Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial, every other player, David De Gea, Cristiano Ronaldo, all these players that constantly get, scrutinised, quite rightly, and then Bruno's fine to just keep chucking in average performances. And I'm not saying they're terrible. There has been some terrible performances, but search your heart, search your soul. You know that Bruno has not been performing better than average for 6 months. Ever since he got that new contract, he's had a few really bad performances and a few okay performances. We are not getting consistent Bruno. And when we bought him, he was ridiculously consistent. And that's the question I would be asking Erik Ten Hag of Bruno. Where's that Bruno gone from the first year? Because you're not a player that can get figured out. It's not like you're a winger with one skill move and they've figured it out. You're not that type of player. What's happened to your game in the last year or so? Where is your form gone? Because you are ridiculously sporadic. And look, if you know your research about Ajax and Erik Ten Hag, that position has to be Mr. Consistent. Your pass completions, your rotation of the ball. As I say, Bruno's not playing badly, but I do think that if we had somebody else, i.e. a Donny, I think he would have been put on the bench like everybody else has been, just to give him a bit of boot up the arse. And I think that's